Firefighters make great cameramen. And we wanted to give you guys a look at fire that most people outside of the fire service don't get a chance to see. And the only people who can show that to you are the guys that go in and fight those fires. So we used HD helmet cameras like you normally see in action sports photography, and we just put them on the helmets, and those guys went in. After the first couple of fires, they started asking to see dailies, and they would kind of critique each other's work. And it became a really collaborative process after a few days.
You melted quite a few cameras as well, right?
We did. Luckily, the company that makes those was a sponsor, so we just kept getting more of them. Nobody had really done something like this. The closest thing we could compare it to was a war movie where you're going to be embedded with guys. You don't know what's going to happen to them. You don't know if new guys are going to come in or go out. So we started off by filming a wide variety of people, many, many more than you see in the final film. And then over the course of that year, as certain storylines came to the surface, we slowly narrowed our focus until we kind of had our three main characters and then our supporting cast of characters. It was a real challenge.
I guess, you get your hero, you got your superhero, you got your, it's just the red truck, and you get excited and you hear the sirens. That was my complete information about firefighters until the day I walked into a firehouse and started asking some questions, and I said, no, wait, hold on, there's a way bigger story here. And, I think it took outsiders getting to know them the way you get to know people, a little bit at a time, to be able to parse it together in a way that makes sense, not just to fire service, but we need this to be understood by everyone, and we were just non-firefighter everyone, Yeah,
I think everybody views firefighters like the poster of Backdraft, and once we got to know these guys and see that these were just real human beings, to me that makes them much more heroic, because they're like any of us, and they can get injured and they can get killed.
Part of the proceeds from the film goes to the Leary Firefighters Foundation, and is specifically earmarked through the foundation as you buy tickets or copies of the DVD when it comes out on DVD to go through the Leary Firefighters Foundation to Detroit's fire department. I've been talking about for 13 years now, since the Worcester Cold Storage Warehouse fire in December of '99, which is why I started my foundation. My cousin, Jerry Lucy, gave his life in the line of duty in that fire, and 5 other very brave men. Now, at the time, we started out helping that department and those families, and then we moved to New York to help them. And at this point in time, I actually thought that the foundation would be out of business because there was so much attention paid to firefighters after 9/11. I thought people, especially people in power, would understand. But we find ourselves actually in the same exact position. So the issues that are being dealt with in this film, some of them are very specific to Detroit, but a lot of them, in terms of pension and pay cuts and equipment and training, are happening in New York, they're happening in Worcester, they're happening in Boston, they're happening all over the country. I was just out in Santa Monica last week. They're happening there in one of the most, one of the wealthiest communities in the country, a fire department that fights wildfires every year, and they've got 40-year-old trucks. So I think what we have to do is, eventually we're going to have to ask for federal funding of all these urban fire departments. There's no other way. Listen, these guys they're too proud to ask for it themselves, and they're not asking for anything except the right equipment to protect us. So it's a question of public safety, and I think we also know after 9/11, these guys were the first guys that showed up. They showed up before the military to defend the country. So I really think it's ridiculous at this point for us to even be discussing the problems with the Detroit Fire Department. It should be taken care of from above, I think.